Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's Game of Thrones Season 7 predictions for Arya. This video is a part of a series of videos where I give my predictions on what I think will happen in Season 7 of Game of Thrones, focusing on a different character every week. This video is for my predictions on Arya Stark. So I have to start by giving a very serious spoiler warning, not just for Game of Thrones up to the end of Season 6, but also for all the production leaks and leaked photos and whatnot that have been released about Season 7, as well as a plot leak, which so far, for the most part, has been confirmed by the aforementioned production leaks. So in other words, a lot of Season 7 has been spoiled, and I'm basing my predictions off of these spoilers. So if you don't want to know too much about Season 7, you may not want to watch this video, otherwise some things will be spoiled for you. So let's just jump right into my predictions for Arya. She ended Season 6 with the epic killing of Walder Frey, but it did happen rather quickly once the reveal was made that the serving girl was Arya. So I feel we need to get some follow-up before Arya moves on, which I think we will get in episode 1. Now, in my predictions video I made several weeks before the Season 6 finale aired, I predicted that Arya would kill Walder Frey, but also she would burn down the dining hall with all of the Freys and Lannister men inside. So I got the first part of it right, but the second part, not so much. However, after I posted that theory, I got a comment on my video that suggested perhaps instead of burning down the hall, she poisoned everyone, so that the scene we saw in the trailer of Walder toasting to the Lannister men was immediately followed by everyone dying from poison after they, drank their toast. And I thought that sounded like a much better idea than my burning down theory, but unfortunately, it did not come to pass. Yet. But that doesn't mean something like this still couldn't happen. In fact, the plot leaks do speak of a scene where Arya wears Walder Frey's face and poisons every major Frey there is while pretending to be drinking with them. And so I'm going to have to totally agree with this and say it is indeed what will happen. In fact, I would say it happens in the first episode and is the first scene we get of Arya. In fact, the scene will start with Walder Frey drinking with the other Freys, and it's going to be like a huge what the fuck moment, because you'll be like, oh, wait a second, I thought Walder Frey was dead. What the hell is he doing there? But then most people will catch on after a few seconds. Oh, wait, that's Arya wearing his face. But you won't be able to tell because Walder will be acting like his normal dickish self, and maybe he will make a toast to ensure everyone drinks, and as soon as they do, they'll all just drop dead to the floor, and it will be at this huge hall that the Red Wedding happened in, that we saw again in Season 6 with the Lannisters celebrating, and that giant hall will be completely full with dead Freys, and then Walder will take his face off and reveal it is in fact Arya. Next, we'll see Arya go down to the prison cells and release all the Tully prisoners, and in particular, she'll go into Edmure's cell. Now, as far as I know, the plot leaks haven't mentioned anything about this part, so I'm totally making it up here. But we have had confirmation that Edmure Tully will be in Season 7. So anyway, Arya will go in and free him, and they'll have a brief conversation where she'll let him know she killed all the Freys, and that he's free to go and reclaim not only Riverrun but the twins as well, and take his place as Lord of the Riverlands. And maybe at first he won't believe her and think it's a trick, so she'll take him to the hall to show him all the dead Freys. And he'll ask if Arya killed his wife, Rosalind, and she'll say that she didn't, and for a moment he'll think that's because she was being merciful. But then she'll explain that it's because she has a legal hold on the twins, since she's the senior surviving Frey, and she's married to him, making him technically the Lord of the twins. And there'll be something very cold about the way she says it, making it clear the only reason she didn't kill her was for strategic reasons. So then Arya will go to leave, and Edmure will be like, "Wait a second, where are you going? Aren't you going to stick around and help?" And she'll just say that she has something that she needs to do, and then she'll leave. And so that's really all we'll see of Edmure and the Riverlands, at least for a while. Later in the season, after Daenerys starts to make progress in conquering Westeros with her successful ambush of the Lannister and Tarly forces, which I covered in my video for her, but what I forgot to mention was I believe by this time Edmure would have solidified his claim as Lord Paramount of the Riverlands, which of course Cersei would not have recognized, and the Lannister troops will still be terrorizing the Riverlands. Therefore, Edmure will indeed make an alliance with Daenerys in order to get the Lannisters off his back and out of the Riverlands for good. And he won't mind swearing allegiance to Daenerys. In fact, I'm sure they'll bring up the similarities to when the Tullys first were named Lords of the Riverlands during Aegon's conquest, when the Tullys swore allegiance to Aegon in order to overthrow the rule of Harren the Black. And so this will help Daenerys defeat the Lannisters by having the Riverlands on her side as well. Anyway, getting back to Arya, after she takes care of the Freys, we see her on her horse heading to King's Landing to kill Cersei. However, she'll run into the Brotherhood Without Banners, Doris of Myr, Beric Dondarrion, and the Hound. They'll ask about what's going on with the Freys, and she'll tell them that she was the one who killed them all. Doris of Myr won't believe her at first, but the Hound will. The Hound will be able to tell just by her demeanor that there's something different about her, that she is now a very cold-blooded killer. And Arya will tell them about how, they were all on her kill list before, but now she doesn't really care about them, which is good for them, otherwise they'd be dead. And again, the Hound's the only one that's going to take her seriously. And she'll tell them that she's going to King's Landing to finish off her list, but Beric Dondarrion will tell her about how Jon Snow has been declared King of the North, and her sister is up there too, and they've retaken Winterfell, and that's where they're heading, and that's where the real war lies, and he'll suggest that she go with them. At first she'll be very resistant, but I think the desire to see her brother again will overwhelm her, so she'll go. Now, there is one thing in the plot like I'm purposely leaving out. I'm not saying it will or will not happen, is Arya's encounter with Nymeria, her direwolf, and that she'll see the direwolf, and the direwolf will just be a part of this giant wolf pack and will be run away because it's too wild to join her anymore. And I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm not saying that won't happen, so I'm kind of just skipping over that. That's a big question mark for me. I'm kind of the mind, if Dan and Dave put a direwolf again, they'll have her head shut off or something, because they seem to fucking hate direwolves. So I hope we don't see her. But anyway, I'm not touching that prediction either way. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. So in the next episode, we'll get a few brief scenes with Arya traveling north with the Brotherhood, particularly with her conversations with the Hound and how they've both changed. The Hound to become less violent, and Arya has become more violent. It's going to be interesting, and ultimately the Hound says he doesn't hold any grudge against her for leaving him for dead. Arya is not going to forgive him for killing the Butcher Boy, but she will say he's not on her kill list anymore, and that's the best that he's going to get. Now, I do believe that the Hound at this stage is going to know that Arya is a really effective killer, and he's not going to doubt her abilities at all, but he is going to talk down on her mission for revenge, saying how silly it is and how she shouldn't do it. But at this stage, Arya is not going to listen to him at all. So Arya will arrive in Winterfell to discover that Jon has went away traveling south to Dragonstone to meet with Daenerys, and instead she'll find Sansa in charge of Winterfell while Jon's away. At first, Arya and Sansa will have a happy reunion. Arya will remember what it was like to be a little girl again and how much she really missed her family. But then after a while, doing like official meetings and stuff where she'll meet people like Lyanna Mormont and have some interactions with her, she's going to become a bit suspicious of Sansa, as it seems she's working to undermine Jon, that she is being manipulated by Littlefinger, and that's going to be a huge point of tension between Arya and Sansa, as Arya will remember seeing Littlefinger standing by while her father was executed. I don't think she'll know specifically that he was the one that betrayed Ned and got him arrested in the first place, but she will be very antagonistic towards him. But Sansa will insist that she has Littlefinger under control and that she's using him in order to have the Vale support. But Arya won't trust it. And has the plot leaked outline, which I totally agree with. Arya will have a couple of sparring sessions with Brienne, who will at first doubt Arya's abilities until actually fighting her, where Arya is going to be a match for Brienne. So, going off on my own predictions now, I believe Brienne is going to be the only one who takes Arya seriously and knows how dangerous of a killer she is. She'll even try to warn Sansa about how dangerous Arya is, but she'll just dismiss her concerns. And shortly after Arya arrives, Bran will arrive in Winterfell, and Arya and Bran will get along a lot better, and they'll have a few conversations about her destiny. Bran will try to convince her destiny lies in Winterfell to help rebuild House Stark, and that her mission to kill the rest of the people on her list, a la Cersei in the Mountain, is petty and unnecessary. And he's even going to do a good job of convincing her, and she's going to seriously consider abandoning her list to stay in Winterfell. Then Jon Snow will stop by Winterfell on the way to his mission up north, where the Hound and the Brotherhood will join him, and I cover his mission to get a white north of the Wall and the video I did for him. There Arya will have a touching reunion, as Arya was the one Stark Jon was closest to, where Arya will try to warn him how Sansa is working against him and letting Littlefinger manipulate her, but Jon won't really take this seriously and just go off on his mission. So while he's away, Littlefinger is going to see Arya as a threat because he's very much aware that she's speaking out against him, so he'll try to deepen the rift between Sansa and Arya and will somehow succeed, possibly due to a dispute on a ruling issue in the north that Arya is going to be against, but Sansa, as temporary ruler in the north, will overrule her. So Arya's rage will come to a head and realize that she needs to kill Littlefinger. Sansa will find out about her plan and plead with her not to, but Arya will do it anyway. So yes, Arya will kill Littlefinger. Sansa is going to be so outraged by this, she'll say she never wants to see Arya again. Thus, even in death, Littlefinger would have succeeded in permanently dividing the two sisters. Now, this is another example where I'm going against the plot leaks, which suggest Sansa will order Arya to kill Littlefinger, or that they'll be in it together. So as I stated in other videos, I don't think the plot leaks are going to be right about everything. So I do agree Arya will kill Littlefinger, but I disagree on Sansa's role. So after Arya kills Littlefinger and Sansa shuns her, she'll decide there's nothing left for her in the north and will decide to proceed back south to kill the Mountain and Cersei, the last two names on her list. Bran will try to reason with her one last time, but Arya will hug him, saying it was good to see him again, and then leave. And that's how Arya's season 7 storyline will end. So now I'm going to do something a bit unusual for my prediction videos for Arya. I'm actually going to go the extra mile and give some of my season 8 predictions for her. These predictions probably would have been more suited for my How Game of Thrones Will End video, but I just came up with them after I made that video, and I don't want to wait until after season 7 airs because they will likely be made invalid by that point, as something in season 7 will probably happen that will prove them wrong and make them not a possibility anymore. So I want to spit them out now before I'm proven wrong, but I'm going to be a bit more vague and less specific than I have been. So in season 8, I believe Arya will travel south to kill Cersei in the Mountain, who at this stage will be at Castle Rock. After a lot of planning, spy work, faces Faceless Man maneuvering, Arya will take on the Mountain, whom she thought she killed several times, but he'll just keep coming back as he's already dead. But after a lot of hard work, will finally burn him alive, but she would have seriously been injured, near to the point of death at this stage. It is then that she'll confront Cersei and lock her in a room, but in her weakened state won't just kill her swiftly. Instead, they're going to have a long conversation about how much she fucked up her life, and Cersei will tell her side of the story, which will be a lot more effective on Arya than she suspected. But Arya will now at this stage know that Jaime is outraged at Cersei for killing hundreds of innocent people, trying to sabotage Daenerys' efforts to attack the White Walkers, and so instead of killing Cersei, she will set up a scenario where Jaime is forced to kill Cersei instead. And then Arya, after she's healed, will get on a boat to travel west of Westeros and see what's out there, and she'll never be heard of again, and that is how Arya's ultimate storyline will end. So yeah, that one's pretty far out there, and as I said, it will probably be proven wrong and made invalid before Season 7 ends, so I just wanted to throw it out there while I still can. So that's it for my Season 7 predictions for Arya. These predictions are all in good fun, and even if I get like 40% of them correct, I'll consider that a resounding success, because I'm not expecting to get a lot of this right. Be sure to check out the rest of my videos in my predictions series, as there are now 6 videos left, which I try to do weekly. Also, check out my channel for many more Game of Thrones videos, as well as many other videos on shows like Star Trek, Vikings, and more, so be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. Thanks a lot for watching.